Welcome to the Optum Rx Pharmacy Insights Podcast. In this forum, we'll discuss the latest and most impactful events in pharmacy benefit management. This episode will focus on how new technologies such as AI are reshaping the realm of the possible in pharmacy care services and how these advancements will impact patients and plan sponsors. Today, I'm joined by my colleagues Jen McGonigal and Santiago Abraham. Welcome to the podcast, Jen. Santiago, welcome back. It seems that in so many of my recent conversations with clients, the topic of AI is always at the forefront. With so much happening in this area, it's great to have you both here to bring us up to speed. Before we go further, can each of you tell us a little bit about your professional background and what you do now at Optum Rx? Jen, why don't we start with you?
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott. And it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I've been with United Health Group for 23 years, and I've been with Optum Rx for 7. I do see myself retiring here. I just absolutely love our mission. And I spent a little bit of time working in IT earlier in my career. However, I would say most of my career, I've kind of had a foot within the capability space. I'm super passionate about leveraging tech and emerging capabilities just to create the better patient and member and provider and client experiences. For the past 5 years, I've been leading our enterprise capability team here at Optum Rx, and we sit in between the business and IT to ensure our technology investments across both the PBM and our Optum pharmacies align to our strategic priorities. My team and I, we love innovating on how to solve business problems and improve stakeholder experiences, and we drive those capability roadmaps in partnership with Santiago's team.
Great. Well, we're really excited to have you, Jen. Thanks for joining us. Santiago, not your first time on the podcast. We're really happy to have you back. Could you remind the audience a little bit about what your responsibilities are at Optum Rx?
Thank you, Scott. Great to be back again. Happy to share a bit more about my background. First 20 years of my career, I spent in primarily direct-to-consumer businesses across several industries. And for the past 7, I've been here at Optum and Optum Rx, really helping to drive technology solutions in partnership with people like Jen and her team, and excited to continue that journey.
Great. Should be a fascinating discussion today. Santiago, I want to begin with you. In this discussion, we want to dig into the use of AI and other advanced technologies in pharmacy services. Can you start by giving your sense of which technologies are making the biggest impact currently, and also talk about infrastructure necessary to deploy them?
That's a great question, Scott. I would say from a technology perspective, this is a pretty critical moment as there's a lot of movement and advancement in the spaces of AI and generative AI. And it starts with really deep partnerships with what I would call key scaled players in this space. So we have really strong partnerships with Microsoft and OpenAI, Google, Amazon, and others. That really is the foundation for a lot of the great work that's happening here. And so we're really excited to, again, have that deep partnership and collaboration to really power the tools and the technology that we're building on. With that, I would also say talent is super, super important to really drive that technology. And so our continued focus on training over 10,000 AI engineers here at Optum is super important because, again, having that workforce that can really understand how to leverage AI and really bring to scale solutions that really solve people's problems is super important. And then finally, I'll call out that in addition to the technology and the talent, we really have to make the commitment at the enterprise level. And Steve Helmsley has really come out really, really clear on our positioning in healthcare, how we're going to be focused on leading the pack there, and really creating a dedicated space for us to invest in scaling AI and driving this transformation forward. So again, super excited about the opportunity to do that with this team.
Jen, given your role guiding Optum Rx enterprise capabilities, I'm curious about the intersection of these cutting-edge technologies and the tangible improvements our clients and members expect from us. Can you talk about how you and your team approach the use of advanced technologies?
Yeah, thanks. So my team is responsible for all of our systems and the platforms and the processes that our PBM and the pharmacies need to function. We first ensure that we take the time to really understand what the business problem is we're trying to solve, all of the pain points in that space and the opportunities we have ahead of us. Our internal team members that we're trying to help, we leverage technology to help simplify and streamline and automate their administrative functions. And, it's paramount for us because we've got so many pharmacists to help them work at the top of their license. We have a heavy focus on the tools that improve the member and the client experience, such as self-service capabilities. And my team also brings a deep knowledge of how our operations work. So not only are we upskilled in AI, but we know how those functions process and how the systems work so that we can help improve them. In fact, one of my team members is actually taking an AI course at MIT. So everybody's been upskilled across my team of 400. We work super close with Santiago's team. And then I would say too that we also understand just that broader pharmacy ecosystem and how it all works, e-prescribing, real-time benefit checks, the rails that the claims run on. And that helps us optimize our internal platforms and how we integrate with the exterior pharmacy ecosystem, just so that we can reduce the member abrasion points, get patients onto therapy faster, take the administrative burden out of providers, and just help everybody get to the therapy they need as fast as possible.
Jen, you mentioned the member experience. Could you highlight a few areas where members are seeing the most immediate impact from advanced technologies?
Yeah, for sure. We've got so much data at Optum Rx, and AI is allowing us to use that vast amount of data to anticipate what the member needs. We can use that data to help predict why they're calling and then proactively resolve those issues and give them personalized care. We've got a couple of member AI solutions live in production today. One of them looks at the consumer data and predicts if the member is going to run into an issue, so that we can get ahead of it and proactively resolve it before they even notice. And that helps us avoid escalations. Another one predicts why the member is calling our call center, and it allows us to offer personalized self-service options within the IVR and help route them to the right advocate who can solve their problem. It also provides the advocate on the other end with the likely reasons for why they're calling so that they can enter the call warm, kind of understanding the situation that the member's in. What's great is that these two solutions have helped us prevent issues. They've helped us resolve member issues faster. And then at the end of the day, we've obviated over 4 million calls this year with the help of these two solutions. One that I'm really excited about that's currently in development is it's our new Optum Assistant for members. And we're going to be able to allow our members to have access to that via the portal or the mobile app. And it's really a conversational agent that allows our members to type in questions like, why did my claim reject at the pharmacy? Or what actions can I take to get my prescription? One question might be, help me save money on our prescriptions. And our agent and assistant will return generic options that are on formulary or help them find pharmacies that are close to them where they can save money. So really great technology. It's going to greatly simplify the healthcare experience for them. And as intuitive as our portal and app are, we just can't expect members to know how to navigate to every page and menu item. So this assistant simplifies that experience and just kind of puts the power of self-service in their hands.
Santiago, how about for our clients, the plan sponsors? Where are we seeing measurable impacts?
Yeah, great question, Scott. I would say let's start with continuing the thread on where Jen was with the member. That simplicity matters to our clients as well. And so really bringing that same Optum Assistant capability into Benefit Central. As you know, Benefit Central is our one-stop shop experience for our clients. And so bringing that Optum Assistant there to empower our clients to ask similar questions, but maybe click in to understand more of the and the PAs and any element really that they want to understand from a benefit perspective and how we're executing on that. And then secondarily, really focusing on value with our clients, right? So things like AI-powered trend management to really understand what's going on from a plan perspective, how they can ultimately take actions to really change trajectory. And then even going further, which is where we want to go next, as well with plan design and really getting to an assistant for plan design. So a lot of focus around really empowerment with our clients, but also creating value and driving that as well.
Jen, providers are really the third part of this equation. What benefits are they seeing as we embed advanced technologies into more of our operations?
That's a great question. And I think historically providers have been overlooked a little bit. We know that prior auth is a source of frustration for providers. Recent stats have said that about 95% of physicians said that PAs increase their burnout, and 94% of providers report that prior auth can often lead to delays in treatment. However, we know that PAs are incredibly important for patient safety and affordability. So my team's challenge was to figure out a solution to help remove that administrative burden from the providers and expedite the prior auth decision turnaround time so that we could get members onto therapy faster. And about 2 years ago, we partnered with SureScripts on this endeavor to co-create a solution that automates the creation, the submission, and the approvals of our prior auths. And it does it all within 30 seconds. Pre-check prior authorization is that Optum Rx solution. And I can spend a few minutes and walk you through how it works. So just imagine that a patient's in the doctor's office and the physician prescribes a new medication. Our real-time benefit check would see if a PA is needed, and if so, Optum Rx returns that codified question set back to the provider. SureScripts then reaches into the physician's EMR and pulls out and attaches those discrete clinical data elements, and it attaches those to the codified questions and then submits the prior authorization back to Optum Rx. So at this point in the process, we've essentially created and submitted the PA without the physician lifting a finger, which is amazing. Optum Rx then runs our PA approval automation, and if the clinical criteria is met, we approve the PA and return that approval status. And again, start to finish, that entire process that I walked through is occurring in less than 30 seconds. And I do want to be clear that this solution, pre-check prior authorization, where we auto-create, submit, and approve it, is not artificial intelligence. So this is codified criteria and business rules. It's been live for about over a year now, and we piloted with Cleveland Clinic first. We've got 100% clinical accuracy over all of the automated approvals. Some proof points and some fun stats here. We are automating about 65% of approvals. We are seeing a 75% reduction in appeals. So that means that we're getting it right the first time. We're seeing a reduction in PA denials due to lack of information because the system is pulling all of the right discrete clinical elements and attaching them to the right criteria. And we're getting patients onto therapy up to 4 days faster, which is amazing. So with this solution, every stakeholder in the entire ecosystem wins. We are currently live with 14 health systems. By the end of the year, we'll have over 20 health systems live, and we've got 50 plus in the pipeline. And it's a really cool and amazing example of how Optum Rx innovates and co-creates with industry partners to solve some really big challenges in healthcare.
One concern that seems to persist around the use of AI is privacy and security. This is especially, I think, germane when dealing with healthcare data. Santiago, how do we ensure responsible and secure use of AI?
That's a really great question, Scott. I would say it's an area that we're very focused on. Really making sure that we've put in place a responsible use framework is what we call it. This responsible use of AI framework ultimately governs how we leverage AI with really an independent group, a review board that goes through clinical, legal, technical expertise to understand the use case, the use, how we're ultimately ensuring the right level of privacy, security, and compliance. And so that's an area that every single use case, all use cases here at Optum go through this process. And so again, a very thoughtful process that makes sure that we're thinking about the right things before we deploy. So that's the central element of our governance around this. I would also say that just generally speaking, AI is truly supporting, but does not replace human decision making. So that's an area that, again, we call that human-centered AI, always a human in the middle to make sure that we're making the right decisions in the interest of our members, our patients, and those who we serve. And so those elements are in place. In addition to that, I'll say that the AI models and the AI tools are following the same role-based access control methods that we apply to all data. So really, again, there's no special side door for AI. It actually is following the exact same security controls that safeguard our data from a client and consumer perspective. So again, an area that we take super seriously because, to your point, this is healthcare data we're talking about here. So we have to make sure that we're treating it in the right way.
Last question for the both of you. We know that this is evolving rapidly, but can you each pinpoint some upcoming developments that have you most excited? As we approach 2026 and beyond, what can clients and members look forward to? Santiago, let's start with you.
All right. There's a lot to pick from here, Scott, but I'm going to go with one of my faves, which is really affordability. I really am looking forward to, and some of the demos we've done and some of the early use case work we're doing with Assistant, and this is Member Assistant now we're talking about, is to really drive improved affordability for our members and our patients, really understanding the options they have and helping them navigate them to to the right drug at the right price. And so I'm super excited about that. And, again, there's so much opportunity here with copay cards and other elements that come into play to help drive affordability. So super excited about the work that we're doing in this space. Can't wait to get it out there.
Jen, how about from your perspective, what can clients and members look forward to in 2026?
Well, I love that Santiago took the affordability lens on that, because all the work that we've got with proactive savings alerts and Optum Savings IQ and saving our patients over $1 billion every year, like putting that in the moments that matter with those companions and assistants is going to be really critical. I'm going to take the accessibility scope. So, assistance helping our members and our providers and our pharmacists and our internal Optum Rx team members in those moments that matter, get members onto therapy faster. So we talked earlier about the pre-check prior authorization solution that gets patients onto therapy 4 days faster. We've got some tools in production, like our out of stock prediction tool that allows us to predict when a drug is going to go out of stock so we can proactively order ahead. And we've seen great results there. And then what I'm really excited about is, we're currently developing lots of tools to solve those future problems. Like, how do you predict reships and resends in our pharmacies? We know it's super disruptive when that happens, but we want to be able to take proactive steps to prevent those disruption events. The other thing I'm really excited about is we're ideating on how we can get the Optum Assistant in the hands of pharmacies. We've got a provider portal today. It does allow for some self-service, but I love the idea of getting a conversational agent in front of the hands of the pharmacist. So at those moments when a claim rejects, they can go in there and self-service and get the members onto therapy. I think empowering them to do things like selecting the overrides in scenarios where a client allows for a vacation override. Those are going to be great examples of how, the member doesn't have to walk away from the pharmacy and come back. We can just give them the information they need at that moment, provide the override, and the member can walk away with their drug. So it's really exciting to see where we can go, how we can provide every member in the ecosystem with those assistants. And, I'm just excited to innovate with Santiago and his team and see what we come up with next.
Jen and Santiago, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a very informative conversation.
Thanks for having us. This is fun.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Pharmacy Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Drager. Tune in again for more discussions as we examine the most important issues in pharmacy care services.